All right, everybody. We hope everybody's doing well tonight, and thank you for joining us on The Dia Bondi Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dia Bondi Show, a big podcast for women with goals. We are here to help you ask for more and get it, resource your dreams so you can get to your goals faster and have an absolute blast doing it because the process matters. I'm so happy tonight to be joined by my on-air bestie, Arthur Leon. See, I can never do it if I don't just say Baby A.
Right.
Welcome, Baby A. Love seeing you here. Love always seeing you here.
Oh, yeah. It's always great to be here. Hi, Dia, and hi, everybody who's joining us.
Hey, Arthur. See, I can't even do it again. Arthur Leon Adams III is here, our on-air producer, but we're also joined by his sidekick, his musician bestie, and his wife, Kat Adams.
I was going to say, you can just call him my husband from now on.
Yeah. I'm Kat's husband. Yeah.
That's the right way to do it. Kat, I'm so happy to have you with us tonight. I'm so happy to have you here. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
And what folks don't know is that, yes, Arthur, crafted all the music for everyone, for me and for everyone in this show. But he also, like Kat, you were instrumental in early conversations about the vibe of the show, what the content would be, what it was for, conversations about the language around it. You also were a great creative partner to me as we were putting together what this whole thing was going to be all about. So thank you. So much gratitude for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
So let's see. What are we talking about today? I am just happy to be here. We're doing this. We're having a live studio recording right now. So we've got folks on the line right now. Thank you for keeping your Zoom connection muted so we can have a nice clean sound today. You'll have a chance to unmute at the end of the day and at the end of our show to do a little behind the scenes chit chat with me, but loving having you here with us anyhow. So there it is. What's going on for you today?
Well, we're doing this big thing. Yeah. I've been working on it and prepping for it today. And, one of the things that we're going to do today is Kat and I are going to play songs for everyone.
You are.
And it's a couple songs that we wrote.
And these songs are special, are they not? These songs are kind of special.
They are special. We wrote them together, and they're we've been working on them and recording them for the last year or so.
Yeah, it was a pandemic project,
Yeah.
I mean, it was always going to be a project, but it became a pandemic project because the pandemic happened.
Right.
And so it was like, we're going to make an album in a couple of months because then we're all going to be back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. We're like, okay, we'll get this album done in 3 months and then we'll get to play rock shows in the fall.
We are making an album and we do have stuff recorded, but the whole 3 months thing is out the door.
So
yeah, that's okay. We're so happy to be an audience for you tonight.
Yeah. So the thing is that what we're doing is today we're going to play songs that no one has ever really heard aside from our cats.
Yeah, just us and the cats.
So I so love it. Okay, so while you two are getting yourselves set up, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do tonight.
Excellent.
Okay, cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about the 3 goal types that seem to be useful when we're thinking about naming and claiming the goals that we have in our lives and in our careers and in our businesses. Mostly lives and careers. I mean, businesses are a place where it plays out, but lives and careers. And then we're going to do a little AMA. We'll open it up for questions for folks to jump some questions right into the chat so that we can keep everyone muted and keep the audio clean here. But you'll have a chance to ask questions about anything, about the content tonight, but also about, anything having to do with what got us here, other work that we're doing. If you've got questions, we'll try to answer them best we can. And we're going to draw some prizes. We're at the end of our 10-day launch efforts, and with the great help of my team, Olivia and Baby A, and everyone who's participated, we've been asking folks to do a couple of things to rate and review the podcast so it gains visibility, as well as share with their friends and to show up tonight. And for those of you who did any of those things, you've been entered into a cool drawing, and we're going to share with those what those are for you a little bit later. So that will be the show tonight. We're probably not going to go the whole hour, but we're really happy to have you here tonight. And looks to me like like Arthur and Kat, Baby A and Kat, are just about ready to rock. Are you guys ready to rock? Everyone, I am so pleased to have my friends play music for you and to have a little bit of heart. And I want to say before we get started, can I just make a word here to say that this is an intense week. There's a lot of stuff going on in the air. We've got the Chauvin, Derek Chauvin trial going on. We've got changes everywhere, uptick in Asian violence, violence against Asian families and communities and people. We've got so much in the air yet again this week. And I just want to invite everyone in right now to come as you are, to show up into this moment with one another and just try to have a little space to enjoy yourselves and to receive, the love and the art that Arthur and Kat are about to share with us, and to get to dream for ourselves for a little while. So you are so welcome to be here as a place also to a little bit rest for the week. So with that, Arthur, let's take it away.
All right. We're going to play a song. It's the first song we ever wrote together.
All right.
Lie down in the tall grass, rest your weary head. Quiet in my open arms, remembering the life we ground into dust. Slow, loud, came crashing on the waves, reforming into rain. You were the horizon, always out of reach. Illusion of the ocean on a desert beach. They say gold can stay in shadow. Lights play at this in the sand, drowning on dry land. The madness, we are whole again.
We are whole
See
again.
the undertow, and then you and I will lie beside the river's edge. Breathe the night sky and become the Milky Way. Rearrange the stars to merge the night and day. The night we drowned in cold blood, so proud, our glorified decay. Starlight in our veins. The madness takes its toll again.
We are
Surrender to our open end. When you and I will lie beside the river's edge. Hemispheres turning so slow. Tempest is journeying below. Fingers loosen their grasp on the grass, let go.
Claps, claps. Love so much to hear my friends. There's nothing better. Yes, you can give us a clap emoji if you're watching. I'm just so, I love seeing my friends do what they love to do. And I love seeing the women and you folks in this community who are following this podcast and being part of the work that I'm doing. I love the opportunity to see you and hear you do what you love as well, because there is nothing more powerful than seeing you in your power. So Kat and Baby A, thank you so much for kicking us off with that beautiful, beautiful story you just told us. And to have a little insight into the first song you wrote together is really beautiful and wonderful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We love playing it.
Apparently, we can tell. And that's where the joy of watching my friends do what they love and what they're good at really comes from for me. So thank you so much. So, we are, like I said, at the end of a 10-day launch, and one of the most important things folks did during this time and can do is rate and review the show wherever they get their podcasts, and it really helps elevate the visibility of the show. It seems like a small thing to do, but it actually has a huge impact, and it makes it possible for other folks who would enjoy the show, it would help them have a blast trying to reach their goals. Enjoy the show and bring it into their lives. And we got one review actually this last week that I'd like to read. A big shout out to listener Lynn's Gore, because what she said in this review is like, it really lit me up because it's so right on to like what the show's about and what I'm about and the work that I do is about. And she says, every time I listen to, this is some embarrassing stuff in the first part, just so you know. She says, every time I listen to Dia, I feel fired up and motivated to take action. Oh, so nice. And she said, what I love about her content is she's always tells it like it is. I mean, that's true. And also while helping you find what actually feels aligned for you. And that's really the heart of what matters, I think, in all the work I do, that you can identify what matters to you, and you can act in ways that are in alignment with who you are as a way to bring that forward. She also says her advice is incredibly practical. It's incredibly thoughtful, thought-provoking, and absolutely have you taking action. It's true, I do have a bias toward action and action that feels good to you. So highly recommend taking a listen and getting inspired. So big ups to you, Lynn's Gore. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate and review, and also to say what. For her to articulate it that way is just so like, I don't know, just lights me up. Arthur?
This is something that I say in every episode, but if you do like what's happening on the show and you find it useful and you get inspired by some of the things we say, you know what you should do is you should like, subscribe, review, and share it. Wherever you get your podcasts, with your friends, it helps so much. And also, if you want to ask a question, we sometimes answer user questions on the show, and you can give us a call at 341-333-2997 and leave a message, and you might just hear your question answered on a future episode.
You just might. You just have to stay tuned, though, if that's going to happen. Because you could send us a question, and, you never know. You never know when it's going to show up in the show.
That's true. So you have to listen to every episode to make sure that you hear your question answered.
Start to finish.
Yeah.
Full on. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, great. Thank you for that, Arthur.
So, Dia, what are we doing here today?
Well, today I want to talk about a little bit more about goals, because turns out since launch, we have 6 episodes live at launch. Our most listened to episode is the one we titled "How to Goals When You Don't Have One." Interestingly, this is a big podcast for folks with goals, and I kind of always assume they already have goals, and so they're coming to talk about their own goals. They're coming to listen to think about ways to enjoy getting to their goals, for strategies to getting to their goals. But I realize that, we're all working on, maybe our goals are changing, they're evolving, they look different to us. Maybe we hate them and the next week we love them. And so I want to talk a little bit more about goals tonight. And I want to start by saying, we always want what we don't have. I mean, there's not always, but there's a lot of I hear in my coaching circles around this work, and even with private clients, sometimes there's sort of desire or there's some attraction to other people's goals. Like somehow the goals that I have aren't the right ones to have, and I should have the ones that other people have because they're bigger, they're better, they're shinier, they're somehow better than the ones that I have. But what I do know is that when we speak from who we truly are, we are more powerful. When we recognize what we really want, we can be more powerful in pursuing it. And I was in a coaching circle. I'm actually going to put my notes down. How about that? I'm just going to put my notes down. I hosted a coaching circle after a workshop I gave a month ago, and it was we all ended up talking about goals a lot, and everyone in the room had one. But they kind of didn't like them. They would talk about them and then sort of be like, yeah, but I don't know if that's really like what I'm not really sure that that's the right kind of thing to have right now. Or I wish that I have these kinds of goals right now, but I wish I had her kinds of goals. And I want to talk about the 3 kinds of goals that I notice we can all have. And we might have a combination of all of them. We might have, one territory, one goal type that we really double down on across our lives. But I want to just name 3 goal types so that you can name them for yourself and then claim them, fall in love with them, and then stand up for them instead of treating them like some sort of second-class citizen in the territory of your life.
Hashtag name it and claim it.
Name it and claim it. It's my favorite thing to do. Naming is so powerful because when we name it, we can see it, and then we can like pick it up and turn it around. It's a thing. Now it's a thing we can stand up for. So I want to talk about there are 3 that I notice. And the first one is what I like to think of as experiential goals. This is actually the kind of goals that I led the first half of my career with. Like only until the last couple of years, did something else start to really emerge. But for me, experiential goals, and for you, this might be true as well. These are the kinds of goals that are about experiences for us. That our goal setting are all about having different kinds of experiences, having a smorgasbord of experience to get to taste a lot of different things. One woman in my conversation in the coaching circle I'm referencing, she really had she was like, I do this thing where I learn something till I'm just good enough, and then I like kind of put it away and I go to the next thing. And I've been an architect, and I've been a this and a that. She named like 5 different careers she's had by the time she's 35. All of which kept moving her forward, but she feels like she keeps jumping tracks. But the truth is that every time she got good at something enough, she had to put it down because she was looking for another experience, because she enjoyed having a vast set of experiences. That was true for me. Early in my career, my goals were to travel everywhere and to be in every possible nook and cranny on the planet, doing work with lots of different kinds of people and lots of different kinds of tech of contexts. So if your goals are ones where you feel like, I just want to have a lot of different kinds of experiences, name it, claim it, stand up for it. It's not the wrong kind of goal. It's a beautiful goal if it's yours and you can name it and claim it and stand up for it. So that's one kind of goal. The second kind of goal is sort of different and can overlap with this a little bit, which is something I think of as a mastery goal. I want to be the best at one thing in my life or career. I don't just want to learn to play an instrument. I don't just want to learn to play the guitar and the banjo and a violin and the drums and taste a lot of different things. I want to be a master. I want to be masterful in one instrument. I don't just want to learn to play chess and then also checkers and also Monopoly. I want to be a chess champion. These are the things where you want to be recognized in the world as an expert at something. You want to feel that sense of mastery over a particular domain. And that is a legit goal. How many women have come through my workshops and over the course of my career have really, they've been happy to be an independent contractor or an independent contributor in their teams forever, but they go deep in one area and they're known as an expert in that space. That's okay. If you love being a master in your space, those are legit goals. You don't have to manage other people if you don't want to. You don't have to learn other skills if they're not relevant to increasing your mastery in your own space. You can just name and claim that mastery is my jam. The third kind of goal I think of is what I think of as like a recognition or an impact goal. This is the kind of goal I hear show up when somebody says to me, Dia, I just woke up yesterday and I realized I want to be VP of engineering in the next 5 years and I want to make $500,000 a year doing it. It's not to say that these are just about the earnings or just about the title. This is about these performance and recognition goals, these chances to have the titles, to have the income, to have the recognition by the world of a particular domain that you not necessarily a master in, but that you are the master of. These are legit goals that if you wake up and you're like, I want to be director someday, name it, claim it, and stand up for it. If you love mastery and everyone's telling you, well, it's time to be a manager, it's time to ascend the corporate ladder, and you're like, no, I want to be an independent contributor forever, being an absolute badass in the thing that I do, and I want to find other ways to deepen my understanding of this particular domain and then have impact with it, good for you. Fend off those urges. Name it, claim it, stand up for it. So these 3 goal types are the ones I notice they fall into. And you might have in one part of your life, it's shifting for me now. It used to be really about experiences. I wanted to go here. I wanted to go there. I wanted to see that. I wanted to be in that context. I wanted somebody else to pay for it, by the way. And I spent 10 years on the road making that possible for myself. And now it's shifted. I've had a lot of experiences. My goal type is kind of shifting now. Maybe you're in a time where your goal type is shifting. What ascension, or this last one, which I'm calling recognition and impact goals, might be one that was important to you for the last 20 years, and now you're realizing you want to pick something and be a master of it. Maybe you want to broaden your horizon and accumulate as many different kinds of experiences as possible. That could be your new set of goals. So these aren't things that are fixed, but when we recognize these buckets that they live in, we can name it, claim it, and stand up for it and not make ourselves wrong for loving them. So here's what I'd like to offer to you. I'm going to ask if folks I know you might be busy while you're listening, cooking dinner or doing something else as you're here on our launch party. I know it's evening time for us right here in the West, but I'd like to drop a poll right now and ask you, what goal type do you think you mostly are? What goal type do you think you mostly are? And I'm going to ask you to just pick one. This will be an anonymous response. So if you can respond to the survey right there, that would be great. What goal type are you? And all answers are right, by the way. Mostly mastery goals? Are you mostly recognition and impact goals that you want to gain recognizable authority in a particular domain? Or you feel like you lead mostly with experiential goals, that life is a buffet and you want to experience lots of different things? So we'll let those coming in. It looks like 40 looks like mostly mastery and mostly experiential goals are winning out right now for those of you who are taking the poll. I love seeing that. I'm going to close the poll now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end the poll and share these results right here. It looks like half of you are saying mostly mastery goals. Awesome. 7% of you are saying mostly recognition, that you want to gain recognizable authority in a particular domain. And then 43% of you say mostly experiential, that life is absolutely a buffet. So that's what those look like. Great. All those answers are right. And you could be having an appetite for goals that cross all those 3 territories. Perfectly fine. Name them, claim them, stand up for them. They can play together well with each other as well. So here's my offer to you, you could use this little phrase to think about caring for, prioritizing, and making the goal that you have important to you so that you can stand up for it. And so here's the little prompt that might help you, integrate that goal that you have into your actual life and stand up for it if you feel like there's pressure for you to have a different kind of goal. So here's how it goes. The phrase goes like this. You could write this down, and we can put it in the show notes as well in case folks later, when we publish the episode, want to go back and use this prompt. So it goes like this. My lead goal type right now is, and then fill that in. Which one of the 3? And that's important to me because, and then fill that in. My lead goal type right now is, you can fill that in, and that's important to me right now because. So I'm curious, Arthur, Baby A, what do you think your lead goal type is? And if you were going to do the prompt, how would it sound?
Yeah, we were just talking about it. We were trying to decide what it might be for either of us, but I don't know. I've always been a like jack of some trades, master of few, and so I never really cared about mastery of anything necessarily. So maybe the second one. Like I always wanted to have some sort of career in music and have some sort of a recognizable authority in it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I see that in you, and even though I do see all the time, you have your house is full of all kinds of different musical instruments. You have a broad taste in music, which we've talked about on this show, and we've talked about at length many different times. But you also, I do also see you like, naming and claiming like that to be a recognizable voice in the domain of music.
Yeah.
That's resonant for me. How about you, Kat?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great question. I love this because, I mean, I think that for many of us, we are like, oh, but it's all of them, and I think that what you said about how our goals change over the years really, really resonated with me because mine definitely have, and I have fought them at various times. So, I think that for a long time, I was going for experiences mostly because they were just happening to me. But then at a certain point, I was like, okay, well, if I get recognition for what I do and how great I am at this or that, which is, a very, very small pool of things, then that will lead me to the next thing. And then I'll be able to develop mastery after I have the recognition. But then, life happens to you and, hits you over the head. And then you realize that, well, maybe there's something that I already have mastery in, or I'm on the way, I'm on that path already. Like I said, with the experiential stuff, I feel like I was happening to me. Right. And then there was a point that came for me a few years ago, when I was like, I just want to be a creative director. I want to make amazing ads. I want to do incredible work. And of course, I want to have my band on the side and I want that to get recognition. But then I was like, you know what? Do I actually want that? I don't know that I actually want that. I think what I really want is just to keep doing what I'm doing and doing it better and better and better so that like, I don't want to manage people. Like you said, I don't want to manage people. I don't want that job. I'm not an administrator and I want to be in a band, but I don't want to be in a band that's so successful that I can't go to the grocery store in my pajamas.
So right there, I'm like, that is experiential right there. You're like, I want to have a big smorgasbord and have the mastery. I see you, the mastery that you have in writing is the thing that enables you to have all these other experiences.
Or maybe that's why I'm a good writer.
Exactly. So good. So good. Well, for the first time in my life, I'm actually standing up for I'm like shifting to actually more recognition and impact goals. I mean, you've been hearing me for the last 2 years talking about, leveling up myself and my business and my impact across the board. And I'm okay, not that I'm not going to have experiences again or prioritize that as my next set of goals, but they are not my lead goal right now. Now, of course, in the pursuit of, recognition and sort of being recognized in a particular domain, and really being purposeful about my impact in the world, which I always did too, but like this is just now it's like the lead horse. What is coming as sort of this, it is causing me to have a varied set of experiences, but that's an outcome of it, not the lead thing. So yeah, naming it and claiming our goals is a fun way for us to start learning that we can have all of them, but maybe not all of them at the very same time. And not to make ourselves wrong all the time, not to be envious of others' goal type, just to be in our goal type. So really, really good. Okay, so I would like now to open it up to questions in the room if there are any. I saw a few of them came through the chat. That's great. Let me see if I can scroll back through. If you have a question about that, please put it into the chat again so that I can see it here. Question for DIC from Kelly. She says, is it bad to be at the same organization for a long time, 15 plus years? I'm still growing and engaged and taking on new challenges, but I feel like I'm not ambitious enough. That's so interesting. I would say, look, I don't love the superimposed ambition, and I think the question I would ask is, what is the source of that? Do you actually have desire for more ambition, or do you feel pressure for more ambition? And I would say that if you had to pick between those two and it was mostly pressure for more ambition, I would then ask, where is it coming from and what is it for, and whose need actually is it? If it's not your need, then then you can put that down. Now, the question around, is it okay to be at the same place for 15 years? Of course it is. If you're having the needs that actually matter to you met, you're feeling challenged, you're growing, you love your team, there's opportunity to have more impact, the things that matter to you, to your goal type or otherwise, are present, of course it's okay to stay for that long. I mean, it's when those things start to expire for you and the trough isn't as full and enriching anymore, that's the maybe moment to look at making a change. Now, I haven't been in-house for 15 years. My world has been one of being on the outside of organizations and then going in and working with them. So, but I too have noticed, like, when do I need to make a change in my own little enterprise so that I can continue to grow and challenge myself as well, and try to mute out those external pressures for me to achieve something, whether it's something, that is sort of the typical look of ambition or not, that doesn't actually matter to me. It is so much easier for us to try to go through the hard parts of achieving something that matters to us than it is to try to go through the hard parts to achieve something that matters to someone else. So that's my answer for you, Kelly. I hope that's really helpful. I see Maya's question. Which one? I'm going to scroll back here. We've got, what if I want to change my goal type? Is that the question? Can you let me know in the chat if that's the question that you have? You and Carolina, love to see you, and Maya both in the chat here. Is that the question I'm answering? If it is, I would love to know that. I'm going to, great. Yeah, she's saying she's just still stuck on embracing my goal type. Well, yeah, that's a challenge. And if you want to change your goal type, I would say to find some opportunities to experiment with that. So if you have one goal type, if you're like, I love lots of experiences and I want to pick something and be masterful in it, I would want to run some experiments and see if that's actually true. To pick something that you think you'd want to develop mastery in, and then go try it. And if it loses energy in a way that isn't alive for you, and it stops being alive for you, maybe that's not, you can put that down. You can put that goal type down for a little while. You say it's just that you lean always towards recognition, but really would like to strive for being more ambitious. Interesting, ambitious has come up twice. So I would address this by saying, what does ambition look like to you? What does ambition look like to you? Yes, dollars, great. That's a great hint, because ambition might not look like just money recognition, or might not just look like recognition through money for one person. It might look like something else, like title, or your name, your face on a billboard on the side of the freeway. So when we think about ambition, we also have to think about what our definition of ambition truly is. I love this. Thank you so much. Okay, for those of you who are still on the call, if you have any other questions, and if you could stay muted, that would be super, super helpful for keeping our audio really clean. Because we are going to turn this into an episode for all of our listeners at the Dia Bondi Show, a big podcast for women with goals. Nadine, I love seeing you here so much. You say that you say impact. Nadine, do you have any questions about your goal type? I'm super curious. I do know Nadine from outside of this call. I'm super curious what goal type you think you are. I think I have an idea of it, but I'm not totally sure how you would categorize yourself. So any other questions, you can drop them right into the chat. I'm going to scroll back and see what else we have here. And in the meantime, we know that when we're coming to a close, we're going to be having another song from Big Surprise. Baby A and Kat are going to sing us their second song, which I only got to hear a tiny smidge of earlier in the day. And so I'll take Nadine's question and give you a thumbs up when you're all ready to rock. How about that? So Nadine, it's not a question. I'm sorry. Just to say that you say that you are an experiential goal type. That's awesome. I love that. I'm curious and subject expert. Yes, that's actually the one that I was gonna go for you. That you and I did some work together in your business, and it was really wonderful to see how intricate your mind worked when it came to the technologies that you're developing in your business, and that you are really, I see you as an inventor, and in that way I think that I can imagine that mastery is one of a strong goal for you. So I love that. Thanks so much for contributing. Okay, so is Big Surprise ready to rock?
Yes, we are, Dia.
All right, see that, everybody. Let's give them some claps. If you can find yourself a little celebration emoji up in there, we'd love to see it as we go into our second song for the night.
Close your eyes wide, this is not what it seems. I'm a rattletrap caught in a tangerine dream. You were born on a willow branch, I was an avalanche. Now we're an extraordinary machine. When it all falls apart, that's when we begin. Climb out of the wool with our teeth and our skin. We built up our empire, tempered it in fire. Werewolves at the door, and we're kicking it in.
You can brandish your hope like a bulletproof vest.
You can tighten the screws on your fortified chest. You can fight till you're blue, it's the least you can do. Then wake up one day as they lay you to rest. Who will hold my feral soul when you go? Who will know? I'll see you in my dream tonight. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go. You hold your breath on the blade of a knife. When the dagger falls, you better run for your life. You won't feel it at all through your ventricle wall. You'll find out we're just empty space after all. You'll find out we're just empty space after all. You'll find out we're just empty. Find out we're just empty. Find out we're just empty space after all.
Excellent. I'm going to say this. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah.
There it is. There's the champagne I bought for myself because we are officially launched at the Dia Bondi
All right.
Show. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love, love, love that song. And I'm going to take just a little toast to you and everyone listening. Thank you so much, Big Surprise, for having a blast with us. We will notify everyone who's listening over the podcast when Big Surprise actually releases the songs that they shared with us tonight and the rest of their album. So we're so happy to have all of you here tonight. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Love seeing you around the Dia Bondi Show.
This podcast is a production of Dia Bondi Communications, scored, mixed, and produced by Baby A. You can like, share, rate, and subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you would like my mom, Dia Bondi, to answer any questions about how to make your next big move, call us and leave your question at 341-333-2997. Thanks for listening.